Hello, this is Daniel Roebuck, and you're listening to No Good Music and the HorrorCon Lounge. Please find me when I'm not doing cool podcasts like this. Please find me at channelofpeace.org.
We have a special guest with us today. He's been in a combined 250 plus movie and TV shows, from The Loveboat to The Fugitive to Lost to the current #1 movie in America, Terrifier 3. He not only plays Santa in the horror movie Terrifier 3, but also in his upcoming family film, St. Nick of Bethlehem. So let's all welcome to No Good Music and the HorrorCon Lounge. This is a crossover episode. Mr. Daniel Roebuck, where's your applause?
I take it there'll be applause.
The applause over there.
Oh, I had the button.
How lovely! How lovely!
Jeremy didn't hit the button.
I like that you invoked the Love Boat.
Yeah, that was one of your first.
How many actors got to be on the Love Boat and the Fugitive? I don't think it's a lot.
Yeah.
You're Rob and Jeremy.
I'm Rob.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm Jeremy.
So how are you today? Are you in LA or where are you?
We're in LA. We absconded 2 times in a row to avoid hurricanes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they wouldn't let us take our house with us.
Mm-hmm.
But we have avoided danger, although we just got our power back on. But there's a lot of people much worse off than us. I don't know if you play this soon. It doesn't matter. Please keep those people in your prayers.
Yes.
If you're praying people. We've lost people over the last 2 hurricanes. People literally in North Carolina disappeared. Horrible.
So you have a house in Florida or North Carolina?
In Tampa, we live.
Wow.
That's our main house.
Okay.
And in Los Angeles, you could see it if for some reason our computer's acting wacky, but we have there's monsters and apes.
Maybe Tammy can bring it up.
Look at this right there.
Oh, now we can see that. Yes.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Tam, maybe bring in one more lamp or turn this light up, or please do something, because we're so
turn so
embarrassed.
You need this.
Yeah, turn that light on hotter. I've never seen you guys. It's on me. Now move it up in the air. Let's see if that would. Am I sucking it all with my big fat head? We're trying to entertain. If anybody does watch this, we're trying to entertain you, but we're just not having a good job. I've never seen. Here, hand me that. I just can't take it anymore. See, you guys, we're directing it right onto the thing.
Oh,
and
that looks a little.
It's as if.
But but then your
It's
face
as if.
like...
Yeah, it's weird. It's as if maybe the computer's failing. Regardless, let's have a great conversation. Okay. And I'll just have a head in the. I don't know what my wife is doing. Have you never done this before, Tammy?
Oh, but
don't you do this for a living?
I do.
I always say to my wife, soon I'm going to get rid of you. And she says, and who's going to edit your movies? And I'm like, what can I get you at Tiffany's? She's really putting one over on me. So you guys,
yes.
What can we talk about today? So much great stuff going on. I'm actually on TV. I'm doing so much stuff. I didn't even remember I was on TV tonight.
We want to start out that Jeremy and I both grew up in the Lehigh Valley. Well, mostly Jeremy, like Phillipsburg, Easton.
What?
Yeah. I'm in Washington. We're in Washington, New Jersey right now.
So Phillipsburg, Easton, great. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good people there.
I went to Phillipsburg High School.
Jeremy, it's an important question. Did Balloons the Clown ever entertain you at a birthday party?
Not at a birthday party, but he was on your set. On your set,
we were
St.
there.
Nick of Bethlehem.
Yeah,
we were there.
We were there.
We were there as extras.
Yeah, and I think it was March.
On what shot?
At the firehouse.
Yes.
In front of the firehouse.
Oh, you were at the firehouse.
Yeah.
I'm having such a hard time seeing you. Yes, he was there at the firehouse. We just cut where that's all done.
Yeah.
We just put you guys in the movie. I think you're in the movie.
Awesome.
I mean, look at these guys. Are they in the movie? If not, we'll find it. Were you smart enough to stand next
I was behind the truck, like right.
We were waving and
we were right
celebrating, and
we were right across the
Oh,
street
yeah,
from when.
I think they might be.
Yeah, when you came out
When
of
we
the
came out?
firehouse. Yeah, we were right across the street.
Then you,
From you. Yeah, that's where we were.
and I'm sure you're there. Thank you for doing that. You know what?
Yeah.
We when you write and direct the movie with a partner, there's a lot going through your head while you're shooting it. That sequence, the end of the movie, is so lovely. I think people are going, this movie's going to blow their mind. How sweet it is, and what a celebration of the Lehigh Valley and the people in it is. But you've got a list of questions. I probably went to the end. Let's go to the beginning.
We're going to start at the very beginning. So at what age did you say to yourself, I want to be an actor? Was there someone or something that, like an actor, actress, a movie?
Well, So from about 6, I started talking about being on TV.
Okay.
6, that's what my mom remembers. You know, I started referencing things like, well, when I'm on TV, you know, things will be a little different around here. Clean your room. Well, when I'm on TV, you know, I'll have people to clean my room. That's not really true. I still have to clean my room. And I've been on TV a lot. You know, I wanted to be an entertainer. I was a ventriloquist, and I was a clown in a circus.
Oh, okay.
We performed at Wilson High School.
Oh, nice.
With the Lions All-Star Circus. I was a clown in a circus. I toured Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey for 2 seasons. I started doing magic shows, and I was just an entertainer. And then I walked into, you guys, now we have Fathom events. In the old days, that wasn't really a deal, but they filmed James Whitmore doing Give 'Em Hell Harry, a one-man play. And they filmed it and they showed it in theaters. And I walked into the theater, an entertainer, and I walked out an actor. I literally said, I'm going to do what he did. That's what I want to do. And it changed my entire life. And as God is good to me in my life, you know, I actually got to work with the guy.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I was his shadow to the point where I think he said, you know, Dan, I have to go to the bathroom. Could you just wait out here? Because I follow him around. The first time I met him after a wonderful play, I went backstage and introduced myself. And I said, Mr. Whitmore, I became an actor because of you. And he paused and looked at me and he goes, are you working? And I said, yes, sir, I work a lot. And he was like, good. Because I think had I not been working, he would have said, you're an idiot. Don't ever do anything. My children don't listen to me. Why are you listening to me? But it wasn't, you know, he didn't extol me in any way to do it. He just was so brilliant and able and blessed to pull off what he pulled off that, you know, I couldn't help but being impressed by it.
I've heard the name. It's before Jeremy's time. Jeremy's
37.
Yeah. And I'm 2 years younger.
You guys are film fans, right? You like film?
Yes.
Films? You know,
Yes.
You know your Planet of the Apes?
Yep.
Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Mr. Whitmore is one of the apes on the Apes Council in the original Planet of the Apes. When they bring Taylor forward and he has to be judged by these apes. Mr. Whitmore was, you know, one of them. He's everywhere. By the way, Planet of the Apes, the last IP I have to get in before I die to be happy. Because I'm a Universal monster. I'm in Star Wars. I'm in Marvel. I'm in DC. We've counted them all. I've been killed by Michael Myers. I've been killed by the Phantasm Sphere. There's a lot of stuff I've been able to do, and that's the last one. And we just did like a Poseidon Adventure story on 911.
Yes,
so that's off my list.
My wife
so now
and
it's just apes.
My wife and I watched that show since it came on, and I didn't know you were going to be on it. So it was like, hey, Daniel Roebuck. And you were on a 3-part.
That was right after we shot the thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was right after we shot the end of the movie.
Yeah, because that was the season's weird with that show. I think there was only 10.
Yeah, they started a weird you're right. They started like March.
Yeah.
April. And by the way, we just finished shooting the show 2 weeks earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like we shot that show a long time, those 3 episodes. Because they built a 90-foot gimbal that spun around 180 degrees. And they put me on the roof.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Did you
Little boy
out...
from Pennsylvania gets to live his dreams.
Did you start out I'm sure you started out in stage, maybe I don't know if you did off-Broadway or just local theater?
No, yeah. I did off-Broadway. If you consider the Pennsylvania Playhouse off-Broadway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Broadway does. There's off-Broadway, there's off-Broadway, and there's 160 miles from Broadway. That's where I started. I love the theater. I worked at the Pennsylvania Playhouse. Civic Theater was Civic Little Theater back in the day. We used to have a dinner theater called Shepherd Hills Dinner Theater. Once I saw Give 'Em Hell Harry, I walked over to my mother, I didn't walk, my mother took me to the Pennsylvania Playhouse for an audition for a play called Beauty Park. And if you have a moment, I'd love to tell you a story about that because I remember everything.
Oh,
yeah. I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I remember this. So we walk into the Pennsylvania Playhouse and there's a guy, sweeping up the floor. Right. And my mom says, "Oh, excuse me, my son here is going to audition for the play. Where do we audition for the play?" And the janitor, very nice man, he said, you go right in that green room there. They'll start in about 10 minutes. So we go into the green room, leaving the janitor to, his work. And we go in the green room and the other actors, and I've never done it before. I'm kind of excited. Mm-hmm. And then, the janitor walks into the green room and he puts the mop in the corner and he says, "Hi, I'm Hunt Matthews. I'm directing this play." And I looked at my mom. I was so incredulous. Why would they make the director of the play clean the theater? What kind of people are these? And I didn't realize that was everything I had to know about the theater. Mm-hmm. I was taught in the first 10 minutes. I still go to the Pennsylvania Playhouse to see a play. And if I go to pee and I don't think the toilets are clean enough, I go into the closet and, I get cleaning. I clean everything up because that's just what you do when you're in the theater. You do it all. So that was my first play. And then I never went home again. Mm-hmm. My father, right before this, all you do is sit around watching TV. Well, you get the hell out of here and do something. And then 4 years later, he said, "Who the hell are you?" Because he couldn't remember that he had 4 kids. He hadn't seen me.
Nice.
It didn't happen exactly like that, but I did a lot of plays in those 4 years. And the last thing I did the day I got married, I did a magic show at Lay's department store in the morning. Then we got married, and then we went to Civic Theater where I had written and directed a play called Miracle on 9th Street. Mm-hmm. And so we did the last performance of the play, and then we took down the set, which you had to do. That was, again, everything you need to know about the theater. So we took down the set while my wife sat at the seafood shanty getting drinks bought for her by strangers who thought they were going to canoodle with my wife on our wedding night. But I was so stupid. I was like, "Well, we got to take down the set. That's the rules." When now I look back and think, it's my wedding night. Somebody else could take down the set.
Yeah.
Did you ever perform at the Easton State Theater?
Oh, on the stage of the State Theater? No. And you know what? I had one opportunity. We had done a production of 1776 at the Pennsylvania Playhouse that was very popular. And they were going to do it for one night at the State Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already kind of, my theories about how this stuff is. Like I had already done the play, and I was doing something else. I think, producing maybe at the same time a production of Zoo Story that we did in downtown Bethlehem. I mean, I was an impresario to whatever extent one could be. Even then, I was like, we'll get the rights to the play. Not really. We'll just do it. We'll get the play, and I hired a director and I hired the other actor, and we did this play. So I didn't get to perform on the stage that time, and I do regret that. But I knew Shelley. She used to live down the street from us. My mother worked at the State Theater for a little while in the accounting or box office or something. Back in the 80s. But a great theater, great people. The Lehigh Valley is lucky that it has art.
I have it in here. I was going to say, the Lehigh Valley is known for art. It has besides art, sports, there's
so much
variety. You can't be bored in the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, and you can't complain and you can't say there's nothing to do. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is, when the steel went and Jeff Parks came up with this idea, and it is his idea. Anybody else who claims it was his idea, do a little music festival, a little downtown thing to get people back downtown. And what that grew into and how huge that is. And then that organization being kind of our, I just love them so much. They're the linchpin to the art scene, but Civic Theater's been doing it for 80 years or whatever. Pennsylvania Playhouse for 60 or 70 years. Like these theaters have been around for a while. But now that we have this kind of center of art right in the middle of our community, I find that an extraordinary gift. And, when we've come and decided, I know others have tried before me. I think there were untapped resources in the Lehigh Valley to be tapped on a professional level. And I think that's what we've done. We've come in and we've given the Valley the respect of saying, if you don't know how to do this, we'll teach you how to do this. And if you do know how to do this, we'll give you an opportunity to join our crew and learn in the most professional manner how movies really are made. And now that we've done 4 movies, I've done actually 5, because we took our Lehigh Valley crew to Connecticut to shoot a movie for somebody else. But with that crew, we've done, let's say, 5 movies in 6 years, I think, 7 years. It's extraordinary. It's impossible. It's unheard of. And we couldn't have done it without the talent in the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
I'm lucky, I guess, to say filmed by Daniel Roebuck, but that's the very first lie of the movie. Like everything else is bullshit, because, of course, it's not a film by me. It's a film by 300 very talented people.
Yeah.
And people like even yourselves, and that's not a joke, coming out and being part of the story.
Yeah. I hope to be in, more. I was in a horror movie that was filmed like a month ago, like independent.
Oh, who did it? Who did it?
His name's
in
Paul,
the Valley?
No, his name's Paul Sutt.
It was in Pennsylvania.
Hunt, Chase, Kill, it's called. And then we have a friend.
Hunt, Chase, Kill.
Yeah. We have a friend, Xander Goldman, who did Macabre Mountain. Last year, we went to the movie premiere. These are movies that people donate to either, get a DVD or to have a role in the movie, but it funds the movie.
But it like Indiegogo type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we've used it. We've used it, and it's a great opportunity to help filmmakers get something done. In fact, we're to get out St. Nick of Bethlehem. We'll make the decision by the end of this week. as to if it's going out this year or next year, but we're working very, very hard to get it out this particular
Well,
year.
if there's
But
a premiere
look,
in the Lehigh Valley, Jeremy
We'll be
and I
there.
will be there.
Yeah. I went to
thank you.
the fundraiser that you did. It was shortly after the filming with the extras. It was like $20 or something.
Oh yeah. We had fun. Wasn't that fun?
It was a good time. Yeah.
I wish we could do that for. I mean, we even had the reindeer there.
Yep.
And by the way, the reindeer is huge. Like that reindeer farm. We're going to give them some love. She's such a beautiful lady, and we should tell people that they should go to this reindeer farm if they're in the Lehigh Valley. The good people at Spruce Ridge Reindeer Farm, look them up online. Go up. It's close. It's like 25 miles from Bethlehem, and you can take your kids to see some honest to goodness reindeer. Amazing. Spruce Ridge Reindeer Farms. You tell them Danny Roebuck sent you. Or tell them St. Nick sent you.
There you go. Perfect.
I didn't know reindeer were real until now.
Yes, they're real, but they don't live in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So we actually have that line in the movie. My mother says, I don't think there are any real reindeer in Pennsylvania. And I say, well, there is at least one.
Nice.
So we have one in PA.
So today I work from home. I have a print shop. Today was slow for me. So I went on YouTube and I found your first movie, Cavegirl. And am I not supposed to mention that name?
The facial expression says it all.
Interview's over.
Cavegirl, get the Cavegirl thing. It's right on the bookcase.
So
Let me tell you about Cavegirl.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes, yeah.
You tell me about Cavegirl.
Well, I was going to say you were 21 around there at the time. Came out in 1985. And just, tell us about how you got the role. That was your first movie. Oh, wow.
Look at that.
So Cavegirl was so long ago that it came out. Remember, this is before laser discs. Is
that reel to reel?
This was a thing called what was a video disc?
A laser?
Video disc.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
This whole thing would go. You turn and you go zip and you shove it into
I've seen that on Facebook. Someone posted one of the machines.
Yeah, like this is how you watched a movie. That's how long I've been an actor. That's how long this technology has been excised for 40 years. That's how long I've been an actor.
And now you can just go
listen.
on YouTube.
I only have great things to talk about Cavegirl. Here's why. You could go on YouTube and you could watch Cavegirl. That seems like a waste of an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Or you could type in and look for Cavegirl: A Second Journey Back in Time, because we actually did the making of Cavegirl.
Okay.
And it's on there because they were putting it out.
You're telling us that's more entertaining than the actual movie.
I think it is. Okay. I have great love and respect for a man named David Oliver, who wrote the screenplay with his brother-in-law, I think, took it to a company. David put up the money. The company distributed. He never got his money back. The poor guys resented Cavegirl for 40 years. And he lost a lot of money, so he should. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conversely, Cavegirl, for me, was a miracle because I went in to read for a little part. And if you'd like to hear a story, I could tell you a story.
Oh, yeah. We love stories.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is I don't think this is just an actor story. I think this is a story for anybody who does anything that requires a leap of faith, for whatever you want to do. So I'm at the audition, the very first audition for any movie I've ever been at, ever. First audition. And, they're mixing and matching the actors. So I go and I read for my little part and I sit down. And then I go read for my little part and I sit down. And the whole time I'm reading for my little part, I'm watching these guys, and the whole idea of the thing was, the guy would be like, oh, so how, and then his glasses would come off, and he'd be like, I'm sexy. I'm the sexy lead. But you've got to extrapolate, make that an 18-year-old doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I watched respectfully actor after actor. And for all I know, that could have been George Clooney, could have been Robert Downey Jr. I don't know who was in there reading for these parts, but they weren't getting jokes. Now, it's not 40-Year-Old Virgin, but there were jokes in it, and nobody was getting the jokes. So I watched again and again and again. And finally, we were done. And finally, the director said, okay, good. Did everybody get to read what they wanted to read? Now, everybody's picking up their stuff, how you do, and they're getting ready to go. Did everybody read what they wanted to read? And I raised my hand. Could I read for the lead? And he goes, sure. Then imagine 40 people had to put all their stuff down and get mad about it. So I read for the lead. And I look over and the director's like this. He said, read the second scene. And I read the second scene and I look over and he's like this. And he said, read the third scene. I look over. He's like this. True. I remember it like it was yesterday. Okay, fine, good. Okay, everybody else is good. Okay, goodbye. Everybody goes out. And I'm so enamored by movies, and I don't have any realization that Cavegirl is any different than Beverly Hills Cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a movie's a movie's a movie. I'm an idiot. I'm literally 20. I think I was just 21. Just 21. And trying to think if that was 84.
Well, it
just 21.
85. The movie.
Yeah, so we shot in 84. Yeah. So I got to Hollywood in February of 84, and I was starring in that movie in September of 84. So that's how fast that happened. So I go up to David, sir, Mr. Oliver, sir, I would be so honored. I could play a cannibal. I could do makeup. I mean, I just want to be part of the movie. Anything you'd want me to do, I promise I would do it. I wouldn't complain, right? And he looks at me, he goes, you're going to be in the movie. Don't worry about it. I just got to figure some stuff out. Well, this is why I'll always be grateful to him. Whether the movie's good or not, that's not relevant to my respect for David Oliver, because David Oliver had to give up using the girl he wanted so that he could use me, because what he realized, without him ever saying it to me verbally, but I'm not an idiot, I direct movies, I know what his dilemma was. He didn't have a comedian. And although the cave girl's sexy, she says bibbidi bobbidi boobidi, she doesn't really talk.
Right.
You're even though the movie's called Cavegirl, you're watching it through the experience of the guy. So if the guy's not silly or interesting or whatever these guys weren't figuring out, he didn't have a movie. He just wouldn't have had any movie. So the movie comes out, it's they four-wall it, what they call four-walling. They put it in, they make 25 prints and they put them in the Northeast, then the Southeast, then that's how they four-wall it, right? And it was played in Hollywood, and it played in Tucson, Arizona. And this guy who I didn't know, named Chuck Williams, who had become my brother essentially. Chuck goes to see this movie, and then he's got a date because he's Chuck Williams, and he leaves the theater in the middle, but he only paid $1. So he goes back the next day and says, I had to leave in the middle. Can I go back in, or do I have to pay you another $1? They're like, just go. Nobody else is in there. Just go in. So he watches the rest of the movie, comes back to LA, and again, God is good all the time. He's talking. He goes to pick up some girl for some acting class. He's talking to her roommates. Roommate says, what did you do this weekend? Tracy Chuck Williams says, well, I was in Tucson visiting my mom. I saw this terrible movie, but the guy in it was so funny. What movie did you see? He goes, I saw Cavegirl. Well, he just happened to be talking to one of the 14 people I actually knew in Los Angeles. And he goes, I know the guy, Dan Roebuck. He's my friend. So he puts Chuck on the phone. Chuck and I get on the phone. We talk. We agree to meet for milkshakes. He's a manager. And the end of this story, and I know it's a long, boring story, but it's just too silly. You know, my first wife, he says, what do you think? Is the guy legitimate? I go, look, what do I have to lose? I'll go meet him. As long as he's not answering the phones, you know, maybe he's a real manager. So, you know, I go to meet Chuck Williams. I open the door. Dude, yeah, we'll get those pictures over to you real soon. Okay, yeah, man, thanks. Yeah. Bye-bye. We'll do it. Danny Roebuck. And I thought, he's answering the phones. He's a receptionist. Well, there's a term called hip pocket client. He was allowed to bring people in. He started looking after me. And then very soon, the guy, Wayne Rice, who ran the agency with his partner, realized I was the only idiot booking jobs in their cadre of actors. And it was, you know, because I had my methodology, which had nothing to do with that. I just went out and gave him the part, right? So eventually Wayne took me over as a manager, and Wayne was my manager from 1985 through 1997, 98. He became such a successful writer and producer. And I said, what are we going to do? You know, and he said, just go with my wife. So then I went with Leslie Rice. So I want you to imagine this in the world of Hollywood. I've had the same managing family from 1985 till now.
Wow.
Like next year is 40 years together. 40 years.
And it was all because of that first movie. And if he didn't go see that movie, who knows?
Chuck Williams hadn't seen Cavegirl. I wouldn't have been in River's Edge. That's not a lie. There would have been no way to get me in the room. Wayne Rice got me in the room.
Wow.
Without this, there's nothing. So even I make jokes about the movie because, you know, I don't want people to think I don't know what quality. Like, again, what David Oliver did for me is incomprehensible. Like, you take him out of the equation of my life. Would I have found? Yeah, I think I would have found my way eventually, but there would have been no way for me to get in a River's Edge if it wasn't for Wayne Rice.
Yeah.
And Wayne Rice from Chuck Williams and Chuck Williams from Cavegirl.
And you had a good experience on the set of Cavegirl. Like, if it was
I had a great time. Yeah, what did I have to lose?
Yeah.
We lived in a house. I mean, watch this documentary, Cavegirl Secondary.
Okay.
We lived in a gay dude ranch, which is now a Christian camp. We lived in this dude ranch. David Oliver was so funny. He was like, I don't care if it's daylight savings time in Los Angeles. It's not daylight savings time here because we're on a shooting schedule. So we were a pocket of 1 mile where, you know, when I called people, I could never remember what time it was. And there were no cell phones. Once we were on this place, we could use the phone, but there were a lot of people and you didn't take advantage of it. And I left in September. When I came home, it was almost Christmas. Like, there was Halloween decorations up when I left, and there was Christmas songs playing on the freeway when I came home. That's how long I was gone to shoot like a 15-day Cavegirl movie. I was gone months.
Wow. So now we want to talk about one of our favorite movies, and I was kind of discouraged that like 50% of people didn't like the movie, didn't have nice things to say about it, and it's The Munsters.
Can I tell you, I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I think the billionaire morons who I hate, who run Facebook and those things, they've been using AI to generate a false narrative so that they could because their entire money-making organization is based on conflict. I've traveled the United States and Canada since that movie's come out. Maybe two people. Now, would people tell me, yeah, I hate to tell you, but people tell me their opinion.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't like, you don't want me to lie to you, right? And I'd say, I don't really care about your opinion. You don't have to lie, but you also don't have to share it.
Yeah.
This is where people are confused. You have to refer to me the way I want you to refer to me. And I'm always like, or I could ignore you completely. I do have that prerogative. So people forget that we're a society where you have to earn the respect of other people, not demand it. Anyway, I don't think half the people hate the Munsters.
Okay.
I think most people, and not only that, guys, this movie is going to be the Halloween movie for the next 20 years, 30 years. It's going to be, and like all Rob Zombie movies, in 10 years, people are going to say it's a masterpiece.
Right.
Because that's what they do for Rob Zombie. But I don't think half the people hated it. Because you'd see their comments. The costumes are terrible. Well, the costumes are perfect. They're not. I mean, not only are they not terrible, they're extraordinarily well thought out and made. The sets are horrible. No, we shot in real castles, and we shot in 400-year-old buildings, and we shot in real swords. It's terrible. The sets are perfect. We had more money. Well, we had more opportunity, not more money. But there's not been a Munsters movie or TV show made, even with the original people, that spent as much money as we did on getting all that stuff right.
Yeah, even those Munster movies, they don't look like, it doesn't look like they spent a lot of money on those.
Yeah, I mean, oddly, I wish that we had more light. I actually was on the set of the Here Come the Munsters, the one where Ed Herman played Herman. I got to go to the set of that and hang out with him. I have a great signed photo back here. And I got to go on, I can't find that picture, but it's Philly. I was on the set that was Grandpa's lab from the Munsters, the weird one where they were horrible people, where Eddie Izzard was Grandpa Munster. So the lab for that was built on the old Phantom of the Opera stage, which is gone now. But I was shooting weeds nearby, and so, I always snoop around Universal because I'm not an idiot. Anyway, so I was on that set too. So I was on the set of 2 of the 5.
You and I, we're only 2 years apart. So for Jeremy,
you and me?
I'm 58.
No, you and him. No, you're not 59 years old.
I'm 58, yeah. It's dark
Come
in
on.
here. That's why I don't have lighting in here. So you look younger, Yeah, I was born in 1965. So
all right. I'm astounded.
So we both grew up watching reruns of the Munsters. I don't know if Jeremy
later in life, but
weren't reruns great? So how did you feel about the movie?
I love it.
We both loved it.
I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, and like you said, I'm about to watch it again, and it's going to be the October or the Halloween every year movie to watch. I have the Blu-ray, even though it was I ordered the Blu-ray before it was on Netflix, or even I might have known it was going to be on that, but I wanted to own it.
Oh, you want to own it? There's a little background stuff. I wish there was more. I wish they maybe.
And I have the figures.
We'll do a 10-year anniversary.
I don't know if you can see.
Oh, great! Yeah, look at that. It looks just like me.
You nailed that.
I mean, it really is too bad. Behind me is my Munsters, part of the collection that's on this coast.
Can you see the album back here?
Yeah, I see the album.
Yeah.
Love that
That's
album.
a heavy duty. That's a double, and it's on color vinyl, but it weighs like 20 pounds too. I think there's a book
and
in
that
there.
book has all those great photos in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people should get that album.
You were in a couple, forgive me, but you were in maybe 1 or 2 Rob Zombie films before the Munsters.
I was in all of Rob Zombie's films, but the first one, because I didn't know him. He often cuts me out with the glee of a zealot. But that's what you do when you have a friend you're like, oh, you understand. I had to cut you out
Yeah.
because I was running too long.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't really understand. I'm kind of pissed about it. But I'm in many of his films. He told me I'm never allowed to complain about having a little part in them
Mhm.
anymore, as he gave me Grandpa Munster. So when I was a little boy and I was in that circus, my character was here. I'm going to find something to share with you guys. My character was clown, right? And they hired me to be a clown, but I I I was just hired because I was funny. Then I came up with this character who was
Oh,
a vampire clown.
Wow.
Now
Nice.
I'm wearing here we did a baseball skit, but that's what the character was.
Yeah. Wow.
So and what I really look like when I wasn't in the baseball routine, I look like that,
Uh-huh.
right? See that?
Like Eddie Munster.
So this is me at 13 years old. That's probably
Mhm.
all right. Now that's important because this is me, at 59 years old.
Mhm.
So you see what I'm saying? Like even where the red
Mhm.
was cut, where I cut my clown red, that's where the mustache is.
right.
The eyebrows are the same. The long sideburns are the same.
Yeah. Wow.
And then Rob Zombie, he says, now, Danny, when I send you the script, there's no Eddie Munster in it. So you're not Grandpa, you're the Count.
Okay.
And that
Mhm.
was the name of the character when I was 12.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, are
Well,
you putting it all in
comes
your head?
around. Yeah, it all comes around.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that? It's insanity. And then this I noticed later, I drew this when I was 12. That's a bat with a top hat on it. I thought that's how I would say that I was a magician who was a vampire. And in the Munsters, how did I get
Oh, yeah.
Igor in the country?
Oh, wow.
I
That's
put
so
the
cool.
bat on my hat.
Nice.
That's really cool.
If you're young at heart and that never leaves you, like I still love these shows that we grew up with. Doesn't matter how old you are. It's just something.
Well, that's why they're still entertaining to us.
Yeah.
If you watch like I do, The Munsters, which is on now. If you have Roku, you could just say Universal Monsters Channel, and they've started playing The Munsters on the channel. We watch. My children grew up on the Honeymooners.
Yes.
And they grew up on The Odd
I'm a
Couple
big Honeymooners.
and the Andy Griffith Show. So,
Yeah.
if your heart is open.
I have a friend who I've had a long time, and it's Art Carney's son, Brian. He lives in New York.
Oh, how great.
Yeah.
Oh, what a blessing. Where does he live?
He lives in North Salem, New York.
Oh, neat.
Not Jeremy. I have another friend, Matt, who does some of the interviews. And when I wanted to interview Brian, but because we're also music, he told me he toured for like 10 years doing colleges playing guitar. So I said, okay, we'll talk. There's the music. But he said, you want me to come to you? And we met somewhere for lunch one time, and I've met him a couple times. But he came to my house, and he brought with him in a bowling ball bag, right, the Oscar, the Emmy, and the Golden Globe Award from his father. My wife, who could care less about the podcast, when I told her that, she had to come upstairs.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Hey, Tam, would you hand me the bus? Good.
So we wanted to weigh the Academy Award, and it was like 9 pounds.
That's nice that you got to hold that. And
Yeah.
Tammy, maybe turn on this light. That might make a difference now. No difference at all. I don't have the Academy Award,
You have the tin
but I
bus.
do have
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
the Jackie
I have a lot
Gleason
of-
bus.
That's the one thing I don't have, because I don't know how much that, in good condition, that is in really great condition.
By the way, it works.
Really?
The mechanism still works.
Wow.
Yeah, this one has got beat on the side. But
Okay.
this may
They're
appall
either
you, but
rusted that
I-
side looks really good.
I have two of these. I have another one in
Really?
Pennsylvania.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot. What I like about this is, just in case you think you're gonna mouth off, ow!
I'm gonna run you over.
Art Carney, the original Felix Unger, by the way. People don't know that. He was Felix Unger on Broadway. He was the
Mhm.
first. He originated the part. There's not an actor who's got the depth of the gifts like those guys had. And I would, it's funny. It's like Andy Griffith had the same problem Jackie Gleason had. He was doing so much heavy lifting, but he never got the Emmys. But Don Knotts has 5, and I think Art Carney had 4 or 5.
Yeah. And Jackie Gleason never got an Emmy.
And he never got an Emmy.
No.
It's you can't even. And I don't think Jack Klugman ever got an Emmy, but Tony Randall got 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird how that stuff is. Just odd. But that was my training ground. Everything I learned on TV, I took to the Pennsylvania Playhouse, and everything I learned at the Pennsylvania Playhouse, I took to Civic Theater, and then I brought it to Hollywood. And it's funny how it's just, I showed you those pictures to tell you, like, I think God makes a plan for you and he tells you about it. I don't think I stumbled upon that. I think it was like, I need to figure out how to be a funny vampire now.
Yeah.
I loved Universal Studios Monsters. The monsters kind of turned me into an actor because I started figuring out that's Boris Karloff. He's in that makeup, but now he's Dr. Neiman. He's that makeup. So now he's kind of Dr. Frankenstein. Like, I figured all that out. That's acting and makeup and all that crazy stuff, right? So can you imagine that now I am a Universal monster? Like, I'm Count Dracula in a Universal Studios movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's not a lot of us.
Yeah.
There's Lugosi and John Carradine and the Spanish guy, and then the guy from Van Helsing, and Nick Cage and Frank Langella, and me, and Eddie Izzard, I guess, because he was still alive, and whoever else is still alive. He's the only other grandpa who's alive, I think.
And I heard they're trying to remake
it's ridiculous.
some of the Universal.
Yeah, I saw
Monster
Wolfman
film.
preview, actually. When we saw Terrifier 3.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel like if one day, I keep hinting, I don't know, maybe the universe will bring it to me. I keep saying, I really would like to be the czar of the Universal Monsters. Maybe one day I'm on a plane and I say to the guy, what do you do? And he goes, oh, me, I run Universal Studios. And I go, can I be in charge of the monsters? Because I think you need someone who actually loves them, but understands that we have to update them. It was a great movie, that Wolfman movie that Rick Baker did the makeup on, Benicio del Toro. That was a great movie. That's how we want them remade. Mm-hmm. Great makeup.
That was a good
great
movie.
Acting.
I think it was just called Wolfman.
Yeah.
Right?
The Wolfman. Yeah. It wasn't called The Wolfman. Wolfman. I have a hard time with that one.
I don't remember.
Wolfman.
Or Wolfman.
Wolfman.
And a friend of mine who's an author, Jonathan Mayberry, wrote the book to go with the movie.
That's neat to write the novelization.
Yeah.
Actually, a year ago now, we did an episode on the Universal Monsters. We covered the originals.
We covered all 6. It was like 2-parter, and then we try to get an interview in October, like horror person, even though we're music, but we try to work it in. And who did we get? Who can we get from Universal? Well, we got Sarah Karloff to interview.
Great,
and she loves talking.
She's
about
terrific.
Father. Yeah,
my father. You know what? I have something that she wants so badly. She's demanded it. I have my license plate in the state of California is Karloff.
Oh, really?
And she said, "How did you get that?" And I said, I mean, I just applied for it.
You're not
I
a
want it.
off.
Well, they don't do that. They don't let you.
Yeah.
You can't leave it to someone. When I get rid of that car, it just goes back into the ephemera, the ethereal or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how she's going to get it, but she wants it. She's made that clear.
Well, you better watch out because she's going to be at the same show you're at.
So we were talking about
this month.
Yeah, she'll probably
You better
she'll
not
come
bring
up
that
after
car.
me. She'll
Don't
shank
bring
me.
your car. She's gonna
Yeah,
take
no, that
place.
car's not going to be there. I hide it from her. I hide it from her. She doesn't know where it's parked. She'll never see it.
There you go.
That's terrible. Terrifier 3.
Yes.
Amazing.
I saw it last night.
Number one film in the country
Yes.
this week.
Yes. We both saw it within the last week.
Thank you for supporting it.
Absolutely.
I love that I'm in it. It's very gory.
Mm-hmm.
To your listeners, if you don't like gory things, don't go see it, or go buy a ticket for it and then go see something less gory. But buy the ticket for our movie. Is that too much tax?
So how did this is
Terrifier? No, go ahead.
Okay.
I thought the ape just talked to me. What? These are what? No, they're nice guys.
So I'm curious as to your role in the movie, and was it something that Damon Leone originally had in the movie, or did it come around that? I mean, I guess we can give spoilers away if people aren't. But,
well, I play Santa Claus.
Yeah,
we know that.
There is a scene online where people can see the beginning of the scene. They chose to put some of that online. So that's not a spoiler. I when they announced number 3, I met Damien because he works with my friend Michael Levy, and we did a movie called Stream, which is going to start streaming.
Okay. I was going to
tomorrow.
ask a question about that. I have also seen that movie.
Yeah, so that'll start streaming tomorrow.
Yeah,
so people can find it when they hear this. And I had to get a terrible death in that. And when they were prepping me for the death gag, Damien was being quite the gentleman. He had to tape me into this rig. And I was like, Damien, darling, I'm like pulling this tape as tight as I can. Said, you want to make it look real, right? So we just really had fun and got along. And when they announced part 3, I said to Michael Levy, I said, Michael, who am I playing in part 3? I didn't get a call yet. Like begging, begging. And he said, oh, actually, he's got a great part for you. I'm sure he wants to tell you. Well, a few months later, maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, probably, Tam, right? 2 years. He told me I was Santa Claus, and it was a Christmas-themed movie, and I was thrilled. So he gets, you see him in this outfit wearing a beard, and I have a real beard in the movie, and let's just say he gets it all from me. Now, how would he take the beard from me? Not pleasant. Not pleasant.
Did your wife see I know you went to one of the premieres, or a couple of, maybe you went to one. I think it was in New York.
She only went to one. I went to 2.
Okay.
It's very violent.
Yes,
but sometimes you think being a husband, there's probably every now and again you make them mad. So they might enjoy seeing you take a bullet or something in a movie. Tammy, do you like when I get? No, she goes, no, that was the last one. That might be true.
The bullet was your kill was a lot better.
Yeah.
That was,
no. I'm just saying, does a wife like to see her husband murdered?
Yeah.
Right.
Rowan got the bullet. Well, that's a spoiler. Let's actually not give spoilers, but let's just say that, it doesn't turn out well for anyone in the bar that night. It's a very good, don't drink. That's my advice. Some killer clown's going to come in and, it's just going to be mayhem.
He's going to pee on your leg.
And what's ironic is that we talked about Saint Nick of Bethlehem almost at the same time. The same,
I was shooting them simultaneously. It's the same beard in both.
Oh, okay.
that's kind of the joy of being an actor, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was very lucky that our Saint Nick movie came to fruition at the same time, and both movies couldn't be more different. But Saint Nick of Bethlehem is going to be a movie that people watch for generations.
Mhm.
And I don't mean just Bethlehem people. I mean, it's a very touching, true story. And we got the right actors. And that I don't mean me, I mean the actors who surround me. And we got the right story and the right director, co-writer, co-director, my friend Spencer Fulmar. So everything came together on that lightning, I think.
For the St. Nick of Bethlehem, something that stood out to me, I know I mentioned this to Rob, you were so positive that entire
Are we
night.
frozen?
Oh, there you go.
Are we frozen? You were frozen. Are we frozen now? Can you hear us?
You guys were frozen for me. I was frozen for you.
Oh.
But
Oh,
I think
okay.
we're good now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was receiving a compliment. Start again, please.
I was saying for the scene that we helped in for the St. Nick of Bethlehem, something that I noticed was your positive energy. You were constantly reiterating how thankful you were, how grateful you were, how touching the story was. Your emphasis on just remaining positive stood out to me. That's something that's really rare. Felissa Rose is another one that comes to mind. But how do you keep up?
100%.
How do you keep up that energy, even through maybe the difficult times or the negative times?
Yeah, I thank you for asking. I think that's just my personality. I think for whatever reason, I've always been the kid who's happy. And it's hard for me because I know many people struggle with mental illness and they struggle with unhappiness. And I can't comprehend it. And it's not just because things go well for me, because, I once had a fellow who used to be a friend, but not so much, he said, yeah, everything works out for you. And
Yeah.
that was right after I almost died. I was making a movie in Iowa and I was so sick they had to rush me into like a 10-hour operation
Oh my
to
God.
fix me.
Wow.
And then it changed my body. I had to wear a colostomy bag for a few months before they reversed it all. It was but this guy's perception of my life was everything always works out for me. And I thought, what do you mean? You wanted me to die? Because the only thing that's worked out lately is I'm breathing, It's just, I just love it. I was just in Walmart and the first guy I talked to was overtly rude, overtly rude. And the next guy I talked to who didn't hear that guy helped me. And then, my wife always asked for something no human being could find in a store unless, you work in the deep state undercover grocery division. So I had to go to somebody else. So when I was leaving, I had a lot to do and I was coming to talk to you guys, which I was even a little late, which is rude of me, but I went out of my way. I waited for a manager. I complimented and, I said, the first guy was rude and they were like, well, tell us the name of the first person. I said, no, let's just assume he was having a bad day.
Yeah.
But, let's concentrate on who did well.
Mhm.
And I complimented these two individuals. So what did it take? 6 minutes of my day? But what a difference might it make for them,
Right.
So that's just how I've always approached life. And I've always looking to see who needs help. I always look to see what door needs to be open, what needs to be carried, what cross needs to be borne. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's just sitting down and hearing someone.
Mhm.
I don't believe I'm special. I just believe my point of view is positive. I found, by the way, Tammy, who is my third wife, She says she's my last wife. She just said that. So now that's
good.
that's on this computer. You guys
Okay.
heard that.
Okay.
That's a threat. If anything happens to me, she's Italian. They're Italian.
Okay.
You
I
can't
will
trust
not edit that out.
these people.
Okay.
But she makes. They're always like, I make this gravy. I make this sauce. I shoot you in the head while you sleep. Like these people can't be trusted. But my wife is also positive, and Spencer Fulmar is positive, which is why we made a good team that night that we were directing together. And so you should in life find people who are happy, because if they're happy when things are bad, they're happy when things are good. I get a little tense because, like, let's say we had 160 people out there. Well, the longer it takes, that crowd's going to diminish. And when I really need the big shot, there's only going to be 40.
Right.
So, keeping exciting is part of the thing. And we have people on our team who are very good at that. Beth Klausnitzer is one of our producers, is always cheerleading people, and she's so terrific at that. So we're lucky to have people like that who help us.
Yeah, we had a great experience. Jeremy stayed later than I did.
Yeah, I got a picture with you. You were great. Thank you.
I always say, tell the people who leave that we gave everyone $100 bill at the end of the night.
And Kathy Moriarty,
but
she
made cookies for us.
Handing out cookies. So I tell you, I got a cookie from Kathy Moriarty. It was a great experience.
Can you imagine watching Raging Bull and having a raging experience because she's such a beautiful person, and one day she's giving you a cookie, and you think everything in life is great. It was hard, she plays my mother, and so the joke, I keep going, mother, and she's only slightly older than me. I hope our audiences fall for it. I think people buy it because she let us make her a little more dowdy than she really is. And I didn't put her in a lot of scenes with Dwayne, who's clearly around the same age. I at least have a younger face, even if it's covered with a white beard.
Well, we don't want to keep you all night, but because this is a crossover episode, so we talk mostly horror and you're acting. But we have some music questions.
Yes, please bring them on. I'm quite the music aficionado.
Okay. So what was not the last concert you attended, but the last great concert you attended?
The last great concert I attended, I took my daughter to see Yosef Islam, the former Cat Stevens.
Cat Stevens, yes.
And my daughter loves his music, and she was only 25 at that point in time. Okay. But his music is embedded in Harold and Maude, which is one of her favorite movies.
Was that like 15 years ago? 20? Was that? I don't know. 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Maybe. Okay. I don't know if it was a tour. He was at the Pantages, so it wasn't at the Greek it was at a theater. Okay.
It was really great. It got a little political. I don't care for that in anything. At one point he was saying how he made decisions in his life and people were negative, and it was like, I don't know, you wrote Peace Train and you called for the death of Salman Rushdie. I don't know that it was our fault. It may have been your fault.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this, a great entertainer, and his voice was very good still.
He has a very unique voice. My wife loves Cat Stevens. So the reason I asked how long ago was because my wife and I, after he hadn't toured in like 30 some years. It must have been 15, 20 years ago when he did 5 concerts in the US. And we were able to get tickets to one of them, which was at the Tower Theater in Philly. Yeah,
this was probably maybe 10 years after that.
Okay. Now, what was the worst?
It was quite a show.
What was the worst concert you ever saw? Or unless you don't want to tell.
No, I don't. I don't go to a lot of concerts.
Okay.
I've seen Kiss in concert. I saw Warren Zevon in concert at Symphony Hall in Allentown.
I saw him there
that was
too.
so good.
Was that in the
Oh, did you?
80s? The late 80s?
This would have been in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
This would have been in the
Yeah, I
70s.
saw him at the
And then he
same
was
place.
gone by the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, I've seen Neil Diamond a few times. I go to the, symphony a lot. Generally, if I'm going to the Hollywood Bowl, is to hear classical music. Yeah, if I could think of one, I would tell you, but I try not to
Okay.
be negative about
Yeah.
things.
I go to
Let's ask Tammy. Tammy, what was the worst concert you ever went to?
The worst? I don't have any worst concerts.
How many times did you see, who did you see?
Aerosmith,
Aerosmith, how many times?
probably 10 in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
10.
Okay.
Tammy, did you throw your underwear on the stage? Just tell me now.
No.
We might have our first fight.
I can tell you my worst concert. I know you're not asking me, but it's
But I'd
it's
be
the
curious.
Bacon Brothers.
Oh,
I don't know.
Kevin
Kevin
Bacon's
Bacon.
brother.
Oh, Kevin Bacon.
He's a good musician, but Kevin Bacon. I was just at a festival in Kentucky like 2-3 weeks ago, and I didn't see them because it was a 4-day and we were only there 2 days. But I saw a video of him doing Footloose, singing Footloose, and I'm telling you, my wife and I saw them at Sellersville Theater. You probably know, right? Sellersville.
Yeah.
And anyway, I won't go on about the Bacon Brothers, but
Well, sometimes you think they should stick to acting. I don't really want
that's one case I would
see-
say. Yes.
Like maybe.
Yeah, I don't want to really see a movie starring Paul Simon.
Yeah.
But and I'll tell you who does a hell of a show, Mr. Zombie. My gosh, now
I've
that's a
never
rock
seen.
concert.
Have you seen
Yeah,
him?
I haven't. He's on my bucket list.
Oh, what a great show! And Alice Cooper.
Alice
it's all-
Cooper's amazing. We've seen
Yeah.
him together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. When I think about that, I guess I just don't hit as many concerts as many people do. When it's your friend up there and watching Rob Zombie on stage,
Mhm.
what do you think? As an actor, that's like, you're Rod Taylor and you're doing the Birds, and
Mhm.
Alfred Hitchcock says, Rod, I'm doing a rock concert later tonight if you want to. Like you go and then,
Yeah.
my mind is like, because the Rob Zombie I get is, hey, Dan, why don't we spin that joke a little different? Try a different delivery. Like that's the Rob Zombie I get.
Yeah.
I don't get. I like when I do Rob Zombie, I make him sound
He's a different person. He's
like Harry Sinise. Yeah, he's an entertainer.
yeah. That's like Alice Cooper. Totally different.
Yeah,
guy
oh,
off
yeah.
stage.
Alice Cooper's been so great to me. He's let me interview. We did a documentary about the Groovy Ghoulies. You remember that? The cartoon monsters.
Oh yeah.
And he gave us a great interview. And we were done. They're wrapping up the camera. I go, Alice, man, thank you so much. What a fantastic. You knew more about that, and that was way after your time. He goes, no, Dan, I've never seen it. My daughter told me what to say. He gave me great sound bites.
Mhm.
But that's a real entertainer. You know that your job is to give sound bites. It's not to pontificate. I feel like I may have pontificated a little today. I apologize
No.
if I have.
We like that. We like
No,
stories.
you're good.
Now,
With Caesar staring at me, I'm a little nervous.
I have one last question. Do you play any musical instruments or sing?
No.
Okay.
I sing.
Do you do
I sing.
karaoke?
But I don't. No. I've done musicals, a number of musicals in my career, but
Okay.
I'm no one's beating my door down. I had to step into the play Annie once, and they kept saying, she was like, "Okay, your line is," and this is, and I was like, "Oh, stop! Listen to me. I have one day to learn the entire show. So here's how we're going to do it. I don't care what this guy's blocking was. You just stand me next to, you want me to sing, tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow. We're all, you stand me next to a dude who's singing exactly that. and I'll sing exactly that.
Yeah.
Don't stand me next to a dude who's singing because I won't be able to find.
Mhm.
I just can't do it. So let's
Right.
make this easy. Let's make it entertaining for the people
So I have
as opposed to the worst.
one more thing.
Yes.
Specifically for our listeners, you can meet Mr. Roebuck the end of this month. He's going to be at Chiller Theater
In Parsippany.
in Parsippany,
Yes.
New Jersey. And then next month, at
Thank
the beginning of the month, you're going to be at Monster Mania in Oaks, which is right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I am.
So you're doing a really cool picture at the Monster Mania show. I don't know about Chiller, but you're going to be dressed up as Santa Claus.
Yeah, we're gonna
at
do it.
Monster
We're gonna do a
Mania.
photo op. Yeah, I'll dress up in the outfit from Terrifier. So I think it'd be a great Christmas card
Mhm.
to have the
Oh, yeah.
Terrifier. So Chiller, I'll be alone because David's not there. But at Monster Mania, we're gonna do the photo op. He'll do his photo ops, and we'll do photo ops together as well. And we might do that also at the next one. But he's a great guy. David is great. He just said very nice things about Brad Stryker, myself, and Clint Howard. He said that was his favorite scene in the movie and his favorite scene to shoot, which was very sweet of him to say. That guy's the real deal. He's a good-hearted, excellent entertainer.
Agreed.
Of course, he doesn't talk as Art the Clown, but he certainly communicates as
Yes.
Art the Clown.
Yeah, we met him.
And he does a
I've met
great
him
job.
without the makeup, and then we went to the costume shop in New York for a photo op.
Oh,
And Little Pale Girl at the costume
They
shop.
were
Oh, yeah.
both in makeup.
Yeah. So that was cool.
isn't that great? A little pale girl, such a young lady now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So then, one final question. I like to ask everybody this, for specific to autograph shows. What is the most unusual item you've ever had to sign?
Yeah, I don't. We sign a lot of weird stuff, but I don't. I've signed a human, and they've had it tattooed.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's probably it. But I also collect autographs.
Okay.
That's something big for me. I have something in my autograph collection that nobody has. I have a Herman Munster doll signed by Fred Gwynn
Oh, wow.
because I did a movie with him and I had the balls to bring it out. And he said, "Where did you get this?" I said, "I've had it." He goes, "You know what it said?" It says, "Hi, my name is Herman Munster." And then he remembered everything it said
Wow. Oh, so it
and he
talks?
signed it for me.
It
He
talks?
pulled the string. Yeah.
Wow.
Mine doesn't talk anymore. I don't think. Tammy, could you hand me that?
Oh, the
Does that
doll,
talk?
yeah. I always wanted one of them.
Yeah. Well, it was so there was a doll and a puppet. Let's see
Oh,
if
there
this
he
guy.
is.
Oh, nice.
That's you know what that is? Do you know what it is? It's there's a record in it and a rubber disc that governs the speed of the record, and the
Oh, okay.
rubber disc is rotting.
Oh.
But you can fix that.
Otherwise, he looks
but
like
this is-
he's in pretty good condition.
This is the doll. Yeah, this is mint. If my friend John Lamanna, who's in the band Psych, and I don't remember the name of his new band, he's my best friend for life. We took First Communion together at St. Anne's. But John, I think I own 6 or 8 of these now. And
Wow.
he keeps yelling at
Really?
me for buying them. But I said, well, at some point I can make a bowling lane or something.
Yeah.
I get 10, I can knock them over because they're mine and I can do anything I want. Right, Herman? Oh, yes, that's right. You guys, what a fun time. And I'm so glad that you came out. You got to be on all the shows. Do a live podcast one time when you're working as an extra.
Yeah.
And I'll keep yelling, "Could you be quiet, please?"
Well, we're definitely
Quiet,
gonna come see you at Chiller, and we'll both be at the other show too.
Yep.
Oh, great. Well, I look forward to seeing you.
Before we go, I have one more thing. And I mentioned this to you when I met you at Chiller, is we have sort of a connection. You live next door when I don't know what age you were, growing up to, her name was Elizabeth Portner.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So my best friend Mark, who I've known since kindergarten, ended up marrying Elizabeth. So that's
no kidding.
Yeah. So.
Oh, she's beautiful. Sure, watched her grow up. Her and her
Because when
brother.
I mentioned, I didn't even know the connection. Like, and he told me he knew exactly who you were because I guess she talked about you. Hopefully, good stuff.
Yeah, they lived right up the street. Great, great people. Her dad, Chris, was an architect. Her mom was a nurse. I don't know what she went into. Wouldn't surprise me if she went in nursing. Beautiful, beautiful young lady. So good. That's great. Do they have any kids?
Yes, they have two. I've got a daughter and a son. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, tell them I said God bless. Hey, would you send people, please? Sure. Send people to a channelofpeace.org and let them know what we're doing in the Lehigh Valley. And we need their help. We always need their help. So a channel of peace.
Channel of Peace.
A channel of peace.org.
Very good. I will put that in there. And then once this is out, I will send your wife the links if you could be so kind to post something. Sure. That would be great. We
will post them. If she hasn't poisoned me or shot me in the head, we will post them. But remember, you heard it here, folks. She said last wife.
Yes.
You heard it.
Yeah.
I didn't poison the last husband. I won't poison you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Tammy. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Have a wonderful night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Intro and exit music by the band 99%.